Interesting news coming out of Brazil and also British Petroleum as well. They have made the largest oil discovery in 25 years, a quarter of a century, off the coast of Brazil. Now, when you think about big oil producing nations, you often think about maybe the United States, maybe Russia, maybe the Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia. You don't often think about Brazil as being a big home of oil. Of course, though, they're not a million miles away from Venezuela, who are, of course, one of the biggest producers of oil in the world, even though they are going through some horrific turmoil when it comes to their political situation at the moment and have been for years. But Brazil, they've got big potential when it comes to this. They're very much a developing country at the moment, and they're really looking to expand their influence, and more oil is definitely a way to do that. But how big is this discovery? How come it's the biggest for 25 years? And does this very much paint a different picture to what a lot of the media is saying? Does this prove that we are in fact not running out of oil? That there is actually loads of oil still out there to find? We've just not found it yet. Let's have a look, guys. Here's the full story as always. BP announced on Monday its biggest oil and gas discovery in a quarter of a century at the Bumerangue prospect, located in deepwater off the coast of Brazil. Bumerangue marks BP's 10th discovery in 2025 to date, following findings in Trinidad, Egypt, Brazil, and the Gulf of Mexico. Or America, whatever you prefer to call it these days. Results from the rig site analysis indicate elevated levels of carbon dioxide, the company said, with plans to begin laboratory analysis which will provide additional insight into the potential of the block. The major oil company had secured the Bumerangue block in December 2022 during the first cycle of the open acreage of production sharing of AMP on very good commercial terms, as they put it. The company holds 100% participation in the block with Brazilian state-owned company British Petroleum SA as the production sharing contract manager. The announcement comes as BP plans to grow its global upstream production to between 2.3 to 2.5 million barrels of oil per day in 2030, with the capacity to increase the production further in the next 5 years after that until 2035. So yeah, interesting stuff, guys. And like I said, it's interesting how we found this big reserve of oil somewhere, despite the fact that everybody keeps saying we're going to run out. Clearly, we're not anytime soon. I think even the estimates of how much we know about currently says that we're going to have oil for the next 100 years at least. And that's a pessimistic look. That's if we don't uncover any more. And I honestly think we're just going to keep finding more of it. I think there's loads more of it out there. It might be more difficult to find, but this proves that it's definitely there. But yeah, guys, in the comments below, I want to hear what you have to say about this as always. And what do you think about the BP Shell rumours? Shell have come out and publicly said that they are not interested in buying BP, but do you buy that? I want to hear what you have to say either way on this subject. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, guys, and have a great day. Remember the world today.